Is Lefkoe with us?
He sure is.
Adam Lefkoe, host of NBA on TNT, joining us on the program. What do you think about that? Of all of the good play, like Drew Holiday, I think is hampered by his name. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the Hall of Very Good.
I think the fact that Drew spells it with a J takes it, I think, out of the disappointment of Drew.
Okay.
Also, I just want to confirm it is the longest gap between All-Star appearances for an NBA player. But by golly, Golden Boy, I agree about Todd. I can't be worried about a Todd.
No. And like if I'm a defense, as great as Todd Gurley was, be like, hey, we're building a defense to stop Todd.
I do think, though, because I'm sure you've heard this. So they yell Peter on NFL punts when they don't want you to touch the ball. They yell Peter, Peter, Peter. And part of the belief behind it, according to the Sims family, from what they've told me, is no NFL players are named Peter. Now, I would argue that Peter Warrick was a really dynamic Peter. But I do think it's interesting that when I look at my memory of the NFL, I don't remember a Peter. So apparently the reason you yell Peter, Peter, Peter is there's no NFL players named Peter.
That is next level. That's next level stuff right there. Has nothing to do with your job with the NBA, but it is next level. I appreciate that.
I'm like you at Eastern Kentucky, baby. I'm a Swiss Army knife. I can kind of do anything.
No, I was not a Swiss Army knife. I was basically...
Well, no, you could be a Swiss Army knife, but you just don't pull any of the knives out.
True.
You just keep it in the container.
When you're sitting on the bench, I was basically a spoon that was in the drawer and was never pulled out. All right.
You were the toothpick on the side that could come out, the little white one? Yeah.
All right. When teams step up when a star player is out, we saw that with Milwaukee, with one game. How do you explain Memphis last night against the Lakers?
It is. I have talked to a lot of NBA players about this. Candace and I had this conversation one time where there were times where she really didn't feel like she could go. And when she sat, she saw a higher performance from her teammates because she wasn't there at all compared to when if she tried to tough it out. And so there is that reaction of, oh, they're not here at all. This is what we've seen from Memphis, though, for 2 seasons. Remember last year, I think they were like 20-2 in the regular season when Ja Morant wasn't playing. I think seeing Xavier Tillman out-duel Anthony Davis was shocking. And that's the takeaway that I have for the Lakers completely is this cannot be Anthony Davis steps up when he thinks it's time. This needs to be what Joel Embiid is to the Sixers, Anthony Davis is to the Lakers. And I always go back to the top 75 and the fact that Anthony Davis made that list. And I know it's not fair, but Shaq had this too. Shaq was named to the top 50 and he was less than a decade into the NBA. And he had to live up to that and then win all those championships after the fact.
But he did.
I think he did. And that's the dilemma with Anthony Davis is you cannot let up 23 and 13 to Xavier Tillman and you don't even hit 10 until the fourth quarter. But I want to say that I really appreciate Dillon Brooks because Bruce Wayne would never put on the suit if there wasn't a Joker. He would never get ready if there wasn't the Riddler. And the fact that Dillon Brooks is we haven't seen this since Lance Stevenson. Someone that is getting in his face and calling him old. We get LeBron with 2 days thinking about him being old at, I wanted to stay Staples, crypto.com arena, baby. Ethereum is going to go through the roof. I love the bad guys because who wants to be the one that nobody likes? Dillon Brooks probably grew up with LeBron as a hero, and he's calling him an MF and bum, like to his face. It's not a fun role, but I appreciate him so much.
Okay, he's obviously baiting LeBron. Like, he probably would love nothing better than LeBron to waste all of his energy in Game 3, try to put, 40 on him, and take him out of the game, where he had been relying on his role players. And now, I don't know if LeBron takes the bait because he's been down the road many, many times. But I brought this up to Jim Jackson yesterday, and he sent it right back to me. I said, I don't remember guys doing that to Michael Jordan, this level of disrespect. He goes, oh, no, we did. You just paid the price, but guys did it. The Pistons as a team did it, and this is pre-social media. But he said, you would get in Mike's face or Kobe's face or Bird's face. And I just didn't remember the level of, it feels like disrespect to LeBron, what Memphis does, certainly with Dillon Brooks.
Well, I've heard so many stories about you don't want to wake the black cat in Jordan, where somebody says something early or somebody says something at halftime, and then everybody looks at that guy, you're like, are you crazy? And then Jordan drops 30 on your head in the second half, or he heard something golfing and then goes out that night and drops 40. I just think, right now we're living each game in real time. And I also think this is going to be the media nerd side of me. I think we have more cameras than ever before that I think there's always 3 dedicated to being on LeBron, and they're in slow motion and they're zoomed in 50x. So maybe we just missed them back in the days of Bob Costas on NBC. But like now we're zooming in and spits flying and tempers are flaring.
Talking to Adam Lefkoe, host of NBA on TNT on Tuesdays. How does Steve Kerr spin this? How do you make this a positive and build momentum against Sacramento?
I think Steve Kerr goes in there and says, the last 6 times we faced this team at home, we've beat them by 11 or more points. I think he says, we've done what we've done all year. We were 11-30 on the road, and we've been 33-8 at home. That's the part of this that I don't think people are thinking about. The Warriors, by the numbers, were going to lose those 2 games. They are the lower seed in Sacramento, and they've been historically the worst home road split in the history of the NBA. And now they are going to where they are 33-8 at home. I think Steve knows that his offense. I believe, if I'm going to make a bold prediction here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Okay. Hold on here.
Hold on here. Okay. Yeah, if I could get like a music or a drum roll or something.
Here we go. Adam Lefkoe, NBA on TNT Tuesdays.
Tonight will be the Jonathan Kuminga game.
Oh, okay.
This will be the game where we got you doing the show tomorrow being like, this is why they didn't trade the guy. I think he's going to have thunderous dunks. He's going to be in that point forward role, kind of dishing it out. Tonight is the Jonathan Kuminga game.
Wow.
I think the fact that I looked this up today, Sacramento has not started a series up 3-0 since the championship in 1951. The last time they won. Sacramento has not gone up 3-0 in a series since 1951. Golden State has not lost 3 games in a playoff series since they blew the 3-1 lead to the Cavs. I don't think it happens tonight. I'm going Warriors.
But bigger picture, who wins this series?
Ooh. I'm still going to take the Warriors. I think it goes game 7. I think it's in Sacramento, and I know we could talk about home road. One team has been in game 7s for the last 10 years, and one hasn't been in the playoffs in 17. So the odds probably right now, I don't know what sportsbook you're affiliated with. I'm sure it's pretty nice for the Warriors to win the series.
I'm looking at the early odds to win the NBA Finals MVP. This according to DraftKings. You want to guess? Early odds MVP.
I'm going to say the early favorite is Jason Tatum.
He's second.
I'm going to say the early favorite is Nikola Jokic.
He is 5th.
Giannis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Then Tatum, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and then the Joker. I'm also interested in this, that the Suns are favored against the Clippers tonight. And
in L.A.
Yes. But having watched the Suns had to play a perfect game in game 2. They
were down 12
they're
in the second quarter.
But they don't have any depth. And I know the Clippers don't have Paul George, because if they did, then they would win this series. And they still might. But why do you think Phoenix is favored against the Clippers when they had to play a perfect game in game 2, and now the Clippers are at home?
I always look at the odds because I'm a degenerate. I'm thinking about they're trying to induce bets, not that they believe that's – what's the spread? Do you have that?
I have the Suns by 2.5.
That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, so my degenerate brain goes, there was a big bet placed on the Clippers, and the books are needing to induce more bets.
Oh. By the way,
or there's a lot of money on the Suns, and they're trying to get more money to come onto the Clippers right now. I think also there's just in the playoffs, I'm always amazed at the recency bias from game to game and how a team wins and it's can you believe that the Suns are going to win this series? Yeah, Kawhi has looked masterful.
Yeah,
masterful.
Yeah,
but look, if the Suns blow it, it'll be the biggest blown opportunity since Jenny Batchy.
Wow, I don't think you can talk about my former girlfriend like that.
Well, when I talk to Jay Ketley every day.
No, it's Jay Kefley. Almost. You almost pulled it off there.
My T's look like F's. That was a Jenny Batchy right there.
Too soon. I still love her. Still love her.
Sorry.
By the way, James Harden's storyline playoff time. Because I love what the Sixers did this year. It was quiet. Most of the conversation was Embiid winning the MVP. Harden played at a really nice level, leading the league in assists. He can get you 21, zero drama. There's no Ben Simmons. There's nothing going on here, which I like for this team. But in the playoffs, James Harden is going to have to be able to be a little bit more. And we've seen playoff Harden. And it's not a pretty picture.
I'm going to the game tonight, and I'm going with your buddies, Nick Wright.
Oh,
and this is my team. Like I was raised a Sixers fan. Game 1 is not sustainable. 7 threes, most in a playoff game in Sixers history since Iverson. But we've seen in games 1 and 2 his inability to explode in the lane. His inability to compete around the basket is a huge issue. Also, he's not going to the free throw line anymore, where him and Embiid were number 1 and number 2 in free throw attempts. And that's how they would change the game. They'd get everybody in foul trouble. They'd slow the game down. I think what gives me a little bit of hope for the Sixers is Tyrese Maxey made the jump from game 1 to game 2. The question is, can Harden's facilitating plus Maxey's explosiveness and Embiid down low, can that be sustainable? My problem is right now, the Nets are completely selling out and Embiid on doubling Embiid. And Embiid is still catching the ball 20, 25 feet from the basket and trying to play this facilitator role. Let's see if it happens tonight. Games 1 and 2, first half, he'd catch the ball out there. The offense would be stagnant. Second half, he'd go to the block and then he'd go from there. But from Harden's perspective, it's the reason why I don't think the Sixers can beat the Bucks or the Celtics, is because I think that the Celtics have a number of guys that can take Harden off the dribble that I don't think Harden can take off the dribble. Harden's not faster than White. He's not faster than Tatum. He's definitely not faster than Brown. I think Marcus Smart locks him up. And then at that point, you're a spot-up shooter. And I don't think 7 threes is something you can expect every game.
How about a round of applause for Adam Lefkoe, who brought it, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, Fritzy didn't want him on the show today, but...
Lefkoe, really?
Typical Todd energy. Yeah. Typical Todd.
Yeah. Nobody's afraid of somebody named Todd. So Lefkoe...
Dan, I have a career question for you, since this is like a staple.
Yeah. I saw you got like this big interview on a website, like Awful Announcing, about your philosophy and doing your hosting stuff, and I thought there might be a name drop in there that, you know what?
I drop you every time.
Dan Patrick said to be like John Stockton, just dish, make everybody better. I didn't hear, did they edit it out?
You literally read the one artitle where I didn't say that. I've been dropping your name in every interview. I'm trying to get the search terms.
I'd like to correction, an update on that. Okay, so what's the career advice I can give you?
Okay, I have a joke. So, do you know what ChatGPT is?
Yes.
Okay, so I heard you guys talking about trash talk.
Yeah.
And so I asked ChatGPT, I said, you're a world-class comedian and you were playing basketball with Dan Patrick. What trash talk would you say to him? And I want to say one of them to you before I ask this question.
All right, here we go.
And boy, their comedy stinks. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, is your jump shot sponsored by NASA? Because it's taking so long to come back down to Earth. I thought it was in orbit. Chat GPT. Okay.
It's too wordy, Lefkoe.
I've seen better defense in a toddler soccer game, Dan. At least they all chase the ball together. You, on the other hand, seem to be playing hide and seek with it.
Once again, too wordy and too much like dad jokes.
If your basketball skills were a sports news headline, it'd read, breaking news, Dan Patrick's ankle breaker breaks own ankles. Witnesses stunned.
You know, I have to admit, you're making me miss Todd giving me mock headlines.
So I asked also ChatGPT for 3 jokes about Dan's producer, Todd Fritz. And I thought this one was really good. Todd's love for sports trivia is legendary. I bet if you asked him how many dimples there are in a golf ball, he'd not only give you the exact number, but also provide a detailed history of dimple design and its impact on ball trajectory. And he'd do it while booking you or your next A-list guest.
Boom. Wow, that... Hold on.
Is this a roast?
My insides are hurting from laughing so much.
Okay.
You know what? Let me take back the round of applause for Adam Lefkoe.
Oh wait, he deserves way more. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude,
Well done,
ChatGPT,
Adam.
I'm just on here all the time asking like different. Okay.
Dan
Patrick,
shut the hell up. Okay.
My career question for you is, Dan,
Okay.
when you went from growing vertically
Yeah.
to like, I want to get the next job,
Yeah.
to horizontally,
Yeah.
when you were like, I want to do more.
Yeah.
What was the big decision that you make that you're like, man, I'm so thankful I did that when you went horizontally instead of vertically?
Well, I was doing SportsCenter, but then I would volunteer to do play-by-play on the weekends where I didn't even get paid at ESPN. I just said, can I do some college basketball games? I wanted to get out. I wanted to meet more coaches and players and kind of be a little bit more well-rounded, get more sources, things like that. Then there was ESPN Radio, and I started volunteering for that on the weekends as well. And this is when I was still doing the 11 o'clock SportsCenter. I just said, you know what? And they didn't want me to do either one of those. And I said, well, I'm going to volunteer. You can't turn me down. So I was not afraid to try a couple of things, even though I was still doing something at a pretty high level doing the 11 o'clock SportsCenter.
And you just started to see changes happening after that.
Yes. It just makes you more well-rounded with stories. Having people you can call is so invaluable in this business. When you have somebody you trust and you've been doing this for, now 40 years, you're able to get that information, and information is key in this small little world that we're in.
I got to start talking to more people than just Todd. Okay.
And Nick Wright.
Yeah. That'll be my guy.
Hey, when you see Nick Wright, tell him I ask about his wife.
I will.
Okay.
I will. I don't know if that's a burn or you're actually being genuine. So
you'll see by his reaction. He really he loves that I love his wife. I appreciate his wife.
I will.
Okay.
I will say hi for you.
Once again, a round of applause for Adam Lefkoe. Yeah.
Love you guys.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Todd seems funny.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That you feel that way.
Lefkoe, so NBA on TNT Tuesdays, also hosting Bleacher Report's NFL Draft Show for the 10th straight year. That'll be next Thursday. We take a break. Play of the day up next.